Hallo en welkom by hierdie week se episode van Blitsfokus. Nou, dit gaan 'n bietjie anderster wees gedurende die onderhoud, maar as julle wil weet hoe anderster dit gaan wees, dan sal julle moet bly en kyk. Natuurlik het ons ook daarna vir Voor in die Koor en Nuut op die rak, maar voor al dit gaan ek en Annemarie 'n bietjie gesels oor wats nie. Hallo en welkom by vandag se episode van Wats Nuut. Nou, Annemarie is terug.
Hallo julle, hallo Francouis, hoe gaan dit met jou?
Dit gaan goed met my, soos julle kan sien, die kouete is nou 'n bietjie weg, so ons is nou 'n bietjie terug
Ek
in die
weet nie-
kortmoue.
Ek weet nie vir wie die kouete weg is nie, want ek wil net sê, ek kry nog baie koud op hierdie stadium. Ek wil net hê die winter moet verby wees, sodat ek kan gaan swem en in my kort shorts kan rondloop en ja, koud kry, ek is oor dit nou.
Ja, nee, gelukkig dink ek nie dit gaan meer lank so koud wees nie, of at least ek hoop so, ek self hou nie van die kouete nie, maar nie anders as dit gaan dit goed met my. Ons weet mos nog maar die werk het opgekom met ons special editions wat nou deesdae gaan uitkom.
Ja, julle kykers moet dit regtig nie misloop nie. Ons het 'n klomp special editions wat uitkom. Julle weet natuurlik ons back to school, ons back to varsity, ons wintersport results wat al die wintersport van die hele jaar se resultate gaan showcase. Privaatskole pret wat op die privaatskole fokus en dan natuurlik artikels van die leerders af inkorporeer. So
Ja.
maak seker julle mis nie ons special editions nie. En dan as ek nou so 'n bietjie kan side quest.
Yes.
My brand Careers Hub het onlangs 'n WhatsApp channel uitgebring.
Oh.
So, as jy kans het, gaan follow die Careers Hub, Instagram en Facebook en daar sal jy ons WhatsApp channel ook kry, net om op hoogte te bly, veral vir al ons jong volwassenes op wat die nuutste werksgeleenthede is, dalk advies van 'n paar mense af wat al 'n pad gestap het in die loopbaan. Maak seker jy mis nie uit nie en gaan volg Careers Hub.
Wow, dit klink baie interessant.
Ja, ek het nou 'n bietjie gepromo, maar ek moet. Dis belangrik.
Ek meen ons almal werk op dieselfde goeie, so dit is maar so.
Ja.
Dit is maar so. Nou, ek het onlangs 'n storie gelees. Ek weet nou selfs nie veel daarvan nie, so ek wil graag by jou 'n bietjie hoor. Het jy gehoor deesdae dat daar is 'n storie wat rondgaan van die Irongo region wat vir 2026 nie genoeg klaskamers het nie?
Ja, ek het daarvan gelees. Ek het bietjie ek wil nie sê navorsing gedoen nie, maar bietjie dieper daarin gaan indelf en ek dink die realiteit is dat in Namibia as 'n geheel, dink ek nie het ons op hierdie stadium genoeg. Ons het baie skole, maar ek dink omdat ons so divided is in ons keuse van skole, is daar baie skole wat nie 'n influx van leerders kan akkommodeer nie en daar's weer baie skole met 'n klomp klaskamers wat leeg staan.
Ja.
So ek dink ons moet half daai balans probeer kry. Dalk as jy moet 'n skool of twee kombineer, as dit is wat moet gebeur. Ek verstaan skole het sy tradisies en hy het sy goed wat jare terugloop, maar jy kan nie sit met 'n skool wat nie genoeg klaskamers het om leerders te akkommodeer nie, veral nie 'n hele region nie.
Ja.
En dit is iets waaraan ons gaan moet werk, infrastruktuur gewys ook in ons land, want ja, ons infrastruktuur, ek dink, is iets wat 'n probleem is iets wat, en nie noodwendig oral nie, maar op baie plekke het ons nie infrastruktuur wat aanpaar is met die res van die wêreld, en nie eers met die res van Afrika op hierdie stadium nie, en ek dink ons het die resources om dit te kan verbeter.
Hierdie is nou wel 'n ernstige nota om vir die wats nuut op te eindig, maar ek voel dit is ook 'n belangrike een om dit op te eindig, want dit is iets wat baie die jeug aantas. Nou, dit gesê, Annemarie, baie dankie dat jy gekom het, weer eens terug is vir die nuus. Baie dankie dat jy hierdie storie te lig gebring het vir ons en ons meer vertel het daarvan. Maar, kom ons gaan gesels 'n bietjie met 'n interessante dames wat in 'n interessante sport sit.
Okay, dan sien ons julle.
Hallo en welkom. Nou, soos julle voorheen gehoor het gedurende die nuus, hierdie onderhoud gaan 'n bietjie anderster wees. En soos julle weet, ons verkies altyd om ons gaste gemaklik te wees. So that said, this interview is going to be done in English. With me I have Zoe Waldschmidt, someone that is in an interesting sport choice. How are you doing today?
Good, and you?
I'm doing good. Now, as I said to our viewers, you take part in an interesting sport, right?
Yes.
Especially one for girls, young girls. So why don't you tell us a bit about what your sport is?
So I do motocross, and the interesting part about that of being a girl is it's normally male dominated most of the time. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see how many girls are now taking part, and definitely internationally how big it's got. And yeah, I'm very proud of myself that I'm doing this sport.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. But now, as you said, it's mainly it's mainly males. It's a male dominant sport. So how do you feel as the girl?
So basically, when I started riding, I used to ride with the boys, and then I was the only girl. And basically, I just took that as them being other competition, not basically going as their boys. I'm a girl, it's unfair, because I feel we're all capable on doing it depending on how hard you train or work for it. And now recently we got a girls class, so now I ride with the girls, but also the big boys, so the old boys that we call the clubmans, basically beginners, they also ride with us because they're also not such a big class, so then we ride together. So that's also quite fun to ride with the big boys.
So you simply decided, competition.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I do know that a lot of girls, young girls especially, when they enter a male-dominant sport, they start feeling the pressure and thinking it's unfair, how can I compete? So I'm very glad to see that you're there, just know we're the same, it's just another competition to win. Now, a bit question, you said now you recently started riding with girls, that you have a girls team and everything, right? So how is it different? Because usually guys, they are more aggressive during sport. So would you say that's still true in motocross between the two genders, or how?
I would definitely say that it is, the boys are more aggressive, but it also depends on how the girl is. So, like, I would say I'm an aggressive rider, but I'm also a very consistent rider, so that keeps me, that I'm in the top there. But it definitely does depend. If you get now a girl that's all poppy and everything, then a girl that's more like, does say now rugby, like if you look at the rugby girls, they are a bit more aggressive than normal girls.
Okay, that is true. I can't argue that point. But now let's go a bit back in time. When did you first start riding?
So I got my first bike when I was about 5. It was a quad. It was originally first black, and then we painted it pink, so I wanted it pink. And then I started racing when I was about 10, because in those days, back in my days, when I started riding at 5, the motocross went down, and then it came back up when I was 10, so I started riding since I was 10.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we all know that pink makes it go faster, so you definitely had the right idea as a kid. But so what made you interested in motocross and everything?
Basically, what got me interested in motocross is basically my dad, with him doing motocross for all his life and doing the Dakar and everything. And basically also me growing up with just bikes around me. I basically wanted to either do riding or horse riding, actually. And my dad said to me, obviously we can't do both because it's both quite an expensive sport. Yeah. So then I had to decide, and then my dad actually turned around to me and just said to me, like, just remember, a horse dies, a bike doesn't. So he said it the harsh way. And then I actually started riding bikes.
Oh, wow.
And actually to this day I'm actually scared of horses, so I'm glad I didn't.
Wow, yeah. No, it makes sense to be scared of horses. I've been around horses in the past. They are big, and they can get scary sometimes when they decide they don't like you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they are gentle, as long as you are not mean to them.
Yeah.
But then again, that's all animals. Although I am interested, do you intend to stick only to motocross, or do you intend to expand later on as you get older? Like you said, your father does the Dakar, right? So do you intend to go in there? Do you intend to enter other types of races?
I definitely want to, in the future, do international races and go further. And it is on my bucket list to do a father and daughter duo for the Dakar. So that is on my list to do that with my dad. But I obviously have to first get used to the bike. Like, I'm very small for a 450 and a 690. But we have started, I think it was last year and the year before, I did start riding the Dakar bike just to get used to it. But like my dad said, he thinks I'm still a bit too young to experience that over 2 weeks, hardly no sleep, then have to do the bike and everything.
Yeah, no, it is a tough thing to do. The other thing I want to mention, you said you want to do international, right? You want to do international races. However, if I remember correctly, aren't you coming back from South Africa?
I came back from from Zimbabwe this past weekend. And in April, I also went with 4 other girls to Australia and rode in Australia, and that was really an experience.
Wow, Australia of all people. Did you see a spider?
No.
That is the most shocking thing I've ever heard. You went to Australia and you didn't see a spider.
Well, not the scary spiders, normally, like daddy long legs and that, like you normally get here,
the
not
normal
the scary.
spiders.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense, because I was about to say, how are you in Australia and you don't see a spider? Well, tell us a bit more about tell us a bit more about your trip to Australia. Like, how was the ride? How is it different there than here?
Definitely the one thing that was scary to all of us was normally here in Namibia we're about 4 ladies that are on the start gate. If we're lucky, we're 6. And then I was used to normally that small number. And then 3 years ago, I went to the MX of African Nations, like I took part this weekend in Cape Town, and there we were 14 riders on the start gate. And then to go to Australia and being 38 girls on the start gate was a bit of a...
Wow, that is a number jump. Wow, I think that's more than half or more than double.
Yeah.
Wow,
that was a nice experience. And basically also to just see how those girls, like those are the top 5 girls in their country. And I mean, they said to us, if it's a lucky day for them, they're 25 on the start gate. So their top 5 girls are like our top 5 boys here. So it was quite an experience to see how they ride. And they definitely inspired us to train harder. And you can actually see like some of them are in factory riding and that, like the girl that won, Charlie Cannon, she was in Honda's factory, and you can just see she has a bicycle there, she cycles, she eats, she trains, and also she has the benefit of being on a farm, so she has her own track. But yeah, it was definitely an experience to see all those girls and how they rode.
Wow. Now that definitely sounds interesting to me. But another thing I'm curious about now between the two, right? How is the culture difference? Because as we know, each sports group, each sports team, they have their culture, their inside jokes, things like that. What would you say is the biggest difference between your girls group and their girls group?
I think the biggest difference between us is definitely, it's going to sound a bit rude, but sportsmanship. Like, you can definitely see overseas, even though they're on like the same country, because there was Australia, New Zealand and America that was there, and then us, Africa. And you can see like they're all friendly with each other and that, but you can definitely see some of them are a bit two-faced. So like you can see they're very friendly with each other, but then like they want to destroy each other on the track. But I mean, you get that in all sports.
Yeah.
But I felt like our team definitely there was the most like comfortable with each other and friends and everything, even though we only met each other only
recently,
a week before the thing. But I would say that our friendships and that was a lot more stronger than the other teams, and you could see that we were actually genuine to each other and was supportive towards each other. Even though we were competition against each other, we still congratulated each other whichever position they came, or if they fell, it wasn't like a snobby like, okay, she fell, she's now off the track for me.
That's an interesting piece of cultural differences that you actually bring up, because I wonder how much you see it, because now yours is just one incident, right? But as we know, sports is permanently going on. So now it also makes me a bit curious about how much you see something like that. But moving on, what I would like to know is what do you enjoy the most about riding?
Definitely what I enjoy the most about riding is definitely when we're racing. I mean, it's a amazing feeling actually if you beat a guy, because they say you can't beat them, and you can just see how they climb into their little hole when a girl passes them. And just the jumping and the how fast you go in that, I would say that's the best part of riding. Obviously training now and then is fun. If you go with a group of people, it's obviously fun, but if you go alone, it's a bit like, oh, I don't really want to go. But I mean, you have to put it in.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's true. You can't be the best without putting in the work for it, whether you like it or not. That isn't always truth. Another thing that I would like to bring up now is, what do you struggle with the most in riding?
Basically, I think riding itself, like if it's in a race, my corners are definitely my weakest point, because I get very not nervous for them, but like I'm scared if I go too fast that I'm going to go over the thing and then lose my position. And I would say about the training is definitely going to the track and training, because it's not like running that you can just take your spikes and your blocks and go to a track and go run. You have to put on boots, your whole kit, do your bike, you have to prep your bike beforehand, have to clean it afterwards. So that's a bit, if you're really tired and not list for it, it's really draining to do that. But I mean, it's what you have to do.
You know, I can definitely see how that would be tiring. Now, do you have any advice for young girls that want to get into motocross, but they feel threatened with it being a male dominant sport?
I always just say when little girls come up to me, it's basically, yeah, okay, if boys pass you, I mean, that's the normal thing that's going to happen, but just imagine that feeling of you passing them or you beating them. I mean, if you put in the hard work, you can do it. And yeah, it is like I see with the new girls that come, it's quite scary for them because they're scared the boys are going to be dirty to them, like dirty on the track, like passing them or jumping on them. But I find the boys are really respectful in that way. And yeah, it's just, you can't, how can I say, you don't get fostered just riding with girls. Obviously, if you go internationally, you can, but you have to start with the boys to get that, how can I say, fearless feeling in you that you can do this.
Wow, that is a beautiful message. And I'm very happy that you came. I'm very happy that you came for the interview. But unfortunately, we don't have much time left. So we're going to be ending this interview here. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
En vir julle wat gekyk het, dit was nou maar wel in Engels, maar soos ek voorheen in die begin gesê het, ons wil ons gaste gemaklik hou. Maar moet nêrens gaan nie, die episode is nog nie klaar nie. Hallo en welkom by Nuut op die rak. Ek hoop julle is reg om julle eie boekrak met nog een boek voller te maak. Nou vandag praat ons oor Die Rooi Angelier deur Eleanor Baker. Nou die Rooi Angelier deur Eleanor Baker, wat onder die skuilnaam Alex Muller geskryf is 'n Afrikaanse misdaad speurroman waarin speurder Adrian Kruger die taak kry om 'n buitengewone sluwe moordenaar vas te trek. Nou, die dader laat feitelik geen leidrade agter nie en lok Kruger doelbewus in 'n fisiologiese kat en muisspel wat sy logika, intuïsie en vasberandheid tot die uiterste beproef. Nou, die Rooi Angelier word 'n sinistere simbool van 'n gevaar en dood, en elke nuwe moord verhoog die spanning. Met haar kragtige en atmosfeerryke styl step Baker 'n verhaal van raaisels en verrassings, waarin temas soos mag, misleiding en die stryd tussen speurder en misdadiger deurslag gewend is. Hierdie roman hou die leser vas tot op die laaste bladsy. Daar het julle dit gehoor. 'n Interessante speurroman. So, gaan kry die boek, gaan lees hom en laat weet ons wat dink julle daarvan. Hallo en welkom terug by Voor in die Koor. Ek hoop julle is lekker om te dans en sing, want vandag gaan ons 'n bietjie gesels oor naam deur ons. Nee, nie die Blitsfokus span nie, ons ONS. Nou, naam deur die Afrikaanse groep ons, of ONS, is 'n romantiese ballade wat die vurige verlange na liefde en 'n toekoms saam met iemand uitbeeld. Nou, in die lied droom die spreker van 'n eenvoudige, maar betekenisvolle lewe, 'n huis, kinders en trouklokke. Maar alles begin by die basiese behoefte om net eers die geliefde se naam te ken. Nou, die herhalende refrein, ek het jou lief, ek moet net eers jou naam kry, beklemtoon die intensiteit van die emosie en die begeerte om 'n ware verbintenis te vorm. Met sy opregte lirieke en beeldryke drome gee die liedjie 'n stem aan die mooi spanning tussen eerste ontmoetings en die hoop op 'n liefdevolle toekoms. Nou, ek is seker ons almal wil 'n liefdevolle toekoms hê, maar wat dink julle oor die liedjie naam deur ons? Wel, ongelukkig was dit altyd waarvoor ons het by hierdie episode. Ek hoop julle het dit geniet soveel as wat ek het. Nou, dit gesê, moenie vergeet nie, julle kan ons altyd op social media kry, los 'n comment of boodskap ons, laat weet ons wie wil julle volgende keer op hierdie skerm op die Blitsfokus bank sien. Hierdie was Blitsfokus, waar ons die jeug se stem die wêreld se fokus maak.